All right, folks, thanks for tuning in to Goal-Sided. Before we get started, we did just want to share a little bit of a message. As you guys know, we are both Mexican-American here on the pod. We'd feel that we'd be missing out on a lot. We would be not doing our part if we didn't share some words about how we're feeling about the current situation. There's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. I'm sure you guys have seen on the news. LA is a big central point for a lot of things, but there's protests all around the U.S. right now, especially this next weekend. There's been a surge in ICE activity, especially in California, especially in LA. LA being a sanctuary city is not about that. The local government has come out and pushed back, but more than anything, the community has really come out, shown their true colors, come out in big numbers and with big strength to push the agenda. I'm seeing push ICE out, right? basically saying they should not be separating the families in LA. There's been a lot of inflammatory acts, however you want to put it. The government has brought in the National Guard. They've now approved Marines to come to the area to deal with whatever situation is going on, however they see it. And it's led to a lot of stuff, a lot of horror for families to go outside, fear to just go to work, to go buy your groceries, to go play soccer, to make it to soccer matches, right? So I think from our side, we just want to share a couple of words on how we're feeling.
Yeah, and personally, it's been a very anxious week, very stressful week in our communities and especially in our families, just talking to them, talking to the younger siblings, you definitely get a sense of the fear that they have. And like in general, you see people going to graduations and getting, picked up there. Pregnant people. It's just been a heavy week for the Mexican American community, the Latino Hispanic community.
No, Latinos, yeah.
Yeah. So we just wanted to say these words and, say that we're there for you. We're feeling the same thing you're feeling, and how you're feeling is valid, and let's just support one another, be there for each other. And we've been through this. Hopefully we'll get through this one again, and if anything, like, reach out to us if you guys want to talk. Like, we're here. So yeah, we just wanted to say, estamos con ustedes.
Yep. And for my side personally, like 100%, I'm not on board with the separation of the families and the persecution of people without any rhyme or reason. And I personally think that's what's happening a lot, and especially in LA. Like I mentioned, being a sanctuary city, it's not a city that welcomes the persecution of people based off of their immigration status. So with that in mind, I see the acts that are happening as inflammatory, as wanting to send a message, as wanting to stir up something that doesn't need to be done. If California wanted to, they would comply and have half of like all Latinos taken out of here, right? But it's not part of the morale of part of like the being of California. It's not what California stands for. And I stand behind that. I don't think that's what it's for. I'm here to support the community. There are protests this weekend. I'm trying to make it out to one of them. A ver qué. But no, yeah. If you're listening to this and you feel persecuted in any way by what's happening right now, feel free to reach out to us. Like Cesar said, find community, find people to talk to. You definitely have a safe space here, and we're hoping for the best out of all this.
Yeah.
Salud, Cesar.
Salud.
Let's go, mi Cesar.
Let's go.
Let's line up the mood a bit. Hay que...
Well,
va a haber energía, es lo que la gente quiere, ¿no? You know?
A eso vienen.
Para eso vinieron, and that's what we're here for, and that's why we're Latinos y todo, para echarle ganas, para chingarle aquí, ¿no? Yes, queríamos sir. Norte,
dicen, y hay que echarle ganas.
Pues ya queda. So welcome back, folks, to episode 153 of Goal-Sided. A whole bunch of stuff coming up. One big news for the community. We're trying a new thing out for pickup. Starting this week, the following week, we're both not going to be here, so va a estar un poquito cabroncito, but Morgan Hill has pickup already happening Friday nights. It is $5, but it's put on by OV Toros here.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. But if they want to partner, ahí vemos. But yeah, it's for the community. Like I mentioned, $5, but you get pennies, goals, balls, lights, everything that you would ever want, and a whole bunch of ballers out there to play. And we're going to try it out this Friday, see if we could piggyback off of it, because Saturday is getting really hot in the mornings. We got to jump a fence or two every once in a while.
Sí. And like if it's getting hot, también tienes que ir más temprano. So, you know.
8 a.m. It's not the business sometimes. But we're going to give this a shot. Ya estamos grandecitos too. We're not turning up tanto los Fridays.
Pues ya no.
I mean, and it ends by 9:30, so you could still go and turn up if you want. Nomás un bañito, el sobaco acá.
Nomás puro axe, vámonos.
What an 8th grade shower.
Sí.
Okay. No, but hopefully that gets popping. Come on out, folks. But a big jam-packed agenda today. We have an international break, folks. We're going to kick it right on off con lo que todos quieren. We're going to talk Mexico recap of the two friendly games that they had against Switzerland and Turkey. We're going to go into a preview of the Gold Cup for them. Talk about the U.S. a bit. Nations League final happened. The Maurice Revello tournament for the youngsters de Mexico. CONMEBOL Qualifiers y tocho.
Ay, Dios mío.
International
was popping.
I know. People were saying que no iba a haber fútbol.
Ay, aquí hay Messi talking shit. We'll talk about it.
No, dude, that's going to be popping. Yeah, let's get it then. Mexico. Our bread and butter de lo que hablamos aquí. Mexico had two friendlies. They played against Switzerland.
In Salt Lake City.
In Salt Lake City, weard. Se veían unas pinches torres de montañas.
Sí, hella bright. I mean, to be fair, it was like a mediodía.
Yeah, it was warm. From what I remember, it was like in the 80s.
Yeah, and it was half of the stadium wasn't empty. It was empty.
It probably gave Mexico City vibes because the altitude and then the warmth. It's pretty high up there, no?
Yo nomás pasé por ahí, no sentí nada.
De pasada, no.
Sí. Good Mexican food there, though.
You think so?
The restaurant we stopped at was really good. Y unas portions así, dije, ay, güey, ¿era pa' dos o qué?
Like,
¿Me miran con hambre o qué?
No, that gives more like Southwest Mexican food, no?
No, era birria.
Oh, okay, you went to
an
authentic Mexican spot. Sí. No, pero against Switzerland they played, and then they played against Turkey. The Switzerland match, they lost 4-2. If I were to kind of bucket it, I would say that there's definitely more to talk about in the match yesterday against Turkey.
You think so?
But I mean, in a positive light, like constructive, because maybe the way that I'll put it against Switzerland, I think there was a lot more that they could throw away and be like, oh, pues.
De todos modos no van a estar ahí,
De todos modos no van a estar, de todos modos no van a dar chances or whatever, right? And maybe just starting right off with that. Couple players being called out pretty heavily. Number one call out for kind of not doing too great, Emilio Lara.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest one. Emilio Lara getting called back up after, I don't know, like a year and a half or so. Closer to 2 years.
So surprising.
It's been a while. He's been at Necaxa for at least 2 seasons now from America.
When he got called up that one time was when he had that wonder season with America.
Right? Where he was like the golden generation or the youngster of the season.
Yeah.
Y fue la única temporada y luego lo llama Javier Aguirre esta vez and you're like, ay,
kind of weird. ¿De dónde lo sacó? ¿Qué?
Yeah. And then se miró que he wasn't really at the level that he needs to be.
Le temblaban las patitas. A little bit nervous. A little something going on there. Como que no estaba listo, ¿no?
Sí.
Le faltó algo. Como que no comió
experiencia, le faltó.
frijoles.
Yeah. Como que se tiene que seguir dando frutos en liga y a lo mejor next time around.
Yeah. The other one that got a little bit of criticism was Mateo Chavez. I saw both.
I thought Mateo Chavez did better.
Some of them lo alababan. Some of them decían que pues no. Se veía más listo. At least in my case, he looked like he wasn't scared. Like he would go up. Like he was like, I kind of want to fight for Gallardo's spot. So I saw some bright spots out of him. Pero I did see that que se veía un poquito verde, that he was still like, for God's sakes, he took out Cesar Montes on one header. Like parecía the play against against Tiva Sepulveda where he knocked his ass out and made him Batman. He crashed heads with Cesar Montes. But he popped up como si nada, no le dolía a ese güey.
Yeah, I think this puts him in a great position to go to Europe y a lo mejor en unos 6 meses está levantando la mano otra vez. He's closer than what Emilio Lara is.
Oh, light years,
to maybe
I think.
Go and sneak into la selección.
The other tough thing is that
because en su lado está Gallardo.
He's the left back position's pretty light with Mexico. Omar Campos no la hace.
Yeah.
And then
Arteaga, pues tampoco.
Arteaga kind of gave up. But those were probably the biggest kind of questionable pieces to this team. But overall, the entire team was kind of questionable against Switzerland. Everybody seemed como que muertos, como que not like woken up yet. And a lot of people put some blame on El Vasco Aguirre because they said, well, you only have these 2 matches. You should really be putting the best lineup that you have up there, not using, because El Vasco came out and said that this was a prep for the Gold Cup. And I think Ricardo Lavolpe or somebody saying, bro, why are you prepping for the Gold Cup? The group stages of the Gold Cup are prep for the Gold Cup because you're playing the Dominican Republic. Con todo respeto a mis dominicanos.
Especially the one in the Discord.
Yeah, but like, they're like, bro, put your strongest side.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing the World Cup match 1, and then against Turkey, play another strong side. Like if you're playing another game these are prep for the World Cup.
Like, siempre decimos lo mismo, ¿verdad? Siempre decimos, ¿por qué metiste a Gallardo otra vez? Si ya tenías a Mateo Chávez.
That's what ESPN Deportes is.
Right? It's like, guys,
pregunta.
Fueron errores de la defensa, por eso perdieron, pero los errores fueron cometidos by young kids who are trying to prove themselves and get that spot, getting that opportunity. Emilio Lara and Mateo Chávez, like, those are 2 prospects, quote unquote, ¿verdad? So let them make these mistakes against the Switzerland, que son friendly. Y ya luego at the Gold Cup, entonces, like we said, at the group stages, which makes lots of sense. So that's your prep for the semifinal and the final. Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, the overall back line didn't look great. Cesar Montes was called out, even though he had a better game against Turkey. Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, then we start asking ourselves, okay, is it the back? Is it like, did the pieces that are bad, or did you guys just put them all in a terrible situation by putting the worst possible lineup? I bet you if you put Mateo Chavez with the lineup that was against Turkey, he would look strong.
Yeah, he would have looked better in the lineup with against Turkey.
I mean, Emilio Lara might have looked okay at right back.
Yeah.
Like Jorge Sanchez looked great against Turkey, right? So, like, that's where you start asking yourself that question. But unfortunately, Vasco does need this time. He needs this time for those players to try it all, to give it their best shot, to try to do something. A llenarle el ojo. And if they can't, they're never going to get called up. Like Emilio Lara, he's not going to get called up probably for a good couple of years or something. But Mateo Chavez is now in the back of his mind, like, hey, if I need a third left back, or if Castilla Angulo's injured right now, that's why he brought him. Then he's going to be like, okay, I know that kid's good, and he's in Europe.
Yeah.
So he's getting good training. He's got a year to get better.
Yeah, which is perfect. Like, that's the perfect scenario you want for all of these positions. Like, yes, está ahí un Liga MX lifer who's still really solid, but then you have this young guy who just went to Europe y está agarrando la onda, está agarrando fogueo, está agarrando experiencia, and that's what you want. Yep. It would be really nice in a perfect role to have it like Santi Jimenez, where it's him and Raul Jimenez both in Europe peleándosela.
Yeah.
But I think the way Javier Aguirre did it this time around was perfect. Is what I would want from
his strategy of
just try him out. Porque same thing, like we'll talk about the Turkey one, but the lineup is probably like 70% different.
Yeah,
it's what it would be the quote unquote starters.
Yep.
So,
some of them,
right.
Raul Jimenez and Santi weren't there,
right,
at all. But maybe going same off the back line, it ends up affecting your keeper, right? Because you have sketchy defenders. You would know more than anybody there. But then Tala Rangel also gets called out as a bad game. Pa acabarla de chingar, the fourth goal where the two center backs try to deflect the ball and it goes right over his head. Like I saw him getting roasted a good amount on, I think, TUDN.
But he also had decent saves.
He had very good saves, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
I thought he was shook off the nerves. And then with some of these, he just nomás no pudo, right? that ball over his head, what can he do?
Yeah.
Another one, like the one that Lara almost gave up. He had a really good coming out with his legs.
Oh yeah, where the header. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, okay, he seems to be grounded. This is what you want from your backup keeper, at least.
Yeah, and I think if you're Javier Aguirre, you're back in the same position where, okay, no estoy 100% seguro si va a ser Malagón o va a ser Tala, porque queda un año. A lo mejor Malagón is the starter for the Gold Cup, ¿verdad? But if I'm Tala, I'm like, I don't really care about the Gold Cup. Like, me gustaría jugarla.
And he might play one game. I mean, three games against the not so strong teams, he can get a start.
But his goal should be the World Cup. Like,
yeah,
that should be the ultimate goal.
But
like,
he has to.
Tiene un año,
he has to play before then to play, right? But the one thing I will say is, I think, unfortunately for Tala, Malagón had a good showing against Turkey, which we'll talk about in a second. For Tala's sake, he needs to get in at the Gold Cup with a good squad, because se han comido twice now 4 goals. Yeah, he's always the keeper. And the Uruguay one, they for sure were blaming him for like all of them.
Yeah.
Here no se le da tanto, but you'd be crazy to not think that El Vasco kind of thinks, well, he's eaten 4 goals twice now.
Yeah, I forgot about
it. It
that,
happens, right? But unfortunately, it's been to him, so he has to get in a lineup with a really strong back line. Because también Vasco también no le chingues, get him a good freaking defense, right?
Yeah. The one thing I do want to point out is que él tuvo me acuerdo de una, no sé si fueron más, pero salidas con los puños in the air.
Didn't come out good.
No, he did.
Yeah.
And that should be something that he needs to perfect, porque ya sabemos que Malagón, that's not his forte. So if he can show
that's
those
a little
moments,
avenue he can get in.
Yeah.
To be like, look, every ball in the air that you want, I'm there.
Yeah.
Worst case at a World Cup, if they play against a super tall European side, then El Vasco might be like, all right, come on in, bro. Because the other dude El Otro is short king.
Con todo respeto.
A couple other things to call out from the team. In the center mid position, Charly Rodriguez and Eric Lira didn't really make anybody happy. Everyone was pissed about Charly.
Yeah.
God damn, that fool cannot catch a break.
Yeah, social media is on fire saying, ¿Qué chingados está haciendo ahí ese güey?
They're like, why is he professional? And you're just like, fuck. Like,
si ese güey fue profesional, imagínate yo.
I get it, folks. Like, yes, we want other players there, but this is not the game to like tear up just specifically him. Everybody did terrible. Overall, Mexico did really bad in this match. Eric Lira even didn't do that great in this match. Chino Huerta on the wing didn't do that great. Freaking El Piojo Alvarado on the other wing didn't do that great. Santi got his goal, though.
Yeah.
That's one big thing.
Good. Yeah.
I still didn't see a lot of dupla, which is that's why you have 2 strikers. You want dupla. You want connection. But it seems to be like we're getting to the point where it's one scores, the other one doesn't. One scores, the other one doesn't. Sometimes they're not even involved together.
Yeah. And that's what you hate to see, because los dos son de mucha calidad.
Yeah.
It's like if they really had that time, maybe in that microciclo or maybe in this Gold Cup, if they keep playing, I can see it happening, but I don't know if Vasco's going to have the patience for it.
Because it's almost giving like, when you coach U10s, when you used to be in your U10s and you had that white coach and he puts 4-4-2. And no, hombre, las líneas don't connect.
Yeah.
Your 4 center backs your 4 back does not connect with the 4 mids. Those 4 mids do not connect with the 2 forwards. Those 2 forwards don't play together.
Yeah.
They're just 2 guys up there, 4 guys back here. It kind of is giving that, because like, esos güeyes no, como que andan en sus islas.
There was one play where Raúl Jiménez se tiró a la banda derecha, and then Santi Jiménez was way in the second post, del otro lado. Mm-hmm. It's like, están way too far apart for them to be able to connect. It's like, I don't know if that's the specific indicación diciendo, okay, one of you has to be in the 18-yard box.
But that's a good idea. But then, like, how do we get there? Right? Because you don't have a 10.
You're missing that point. Yeah.
You don't have a 10. And you're having Charly and Eric Lira, who are not the most offensive players in the world. So, ¿quién te va a venir por atrás para ayudarte? In theory, one of the forwards is supposed to act a little bit false. And it's what Santi is. Raúl stays up top, and then we'll talk about it, but Quiñones kind of dropped a little bit in the with Ángel Sepúlveda. They're supposed to kind of do that, basically be a 10. But I'm just saying, I think El Vasco hasn't found the way to get both of them as involved as he would like.
Yeah.
Scoring, one of them scoring a goal doesn't necessarily mean for me that we're working on all cylinders. We're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. Or you could just take out Charly Rodriguez and put Marcel Ruiz.
Te me estás adelantando. That's what all of Twitter wants, bro. Like, también people, you got to understand, there's levels to this. After Charly, it's Eric Lira. After Eric Lira, it's Marcel Ruiz. Edson is still there. Even though I love Edson at center back, I don't love him like anywhere really, honestly. But if you've played center back, you get two dynamic mids, and you could do Lira and Marcel Ruiz, which I love that. Very dynamic. One of them could go box to box. The other one plays defensive. Me encanta. But that's not going to happen. It's Edson with somebody, and as of right now, in El Vasco's head, I think it's him and Eric Lira.
Charly and Eric Lira.
No, Edson and
Eric Lira. Yeah, which makes sense. But, I mean, if we take a step back really quick, like, why are we playing 4-4-2 a huevo? Like,
because a huevo, they want Santi Jimenez and Raul Jimenez in there.
Hijos de su chingada.
Because remember in those interviews, they started planting in his head saying, like, you have your two best players are your two forwards. Why do you have one on the bench and the other one in? And then he's like, well, maybe I can do something about the two forwards. And
Jesus Christ. And la pinche Federación Mexicana needs both of them in.
No, I mean,
tickets.
In my opinion, I think it's El Vasco just being like, well, I need my best players. And like, I'm missing out on Quiñones when I have Alexis in, right? I'm missing out on my other winger when I have Chino Huerta in, right? Like a Piojo in, I miss out on Chino Huerta. So he's just trying to get the most that he can out there. But in my opinion, from a coaching perspective, I think the best way is with the 5 in the back, 3 center backs, 2 wingers, 3 mids, and then dos.
Right, so 5-4-1.
Yeah, 5-4-1, but a little bit more cooking.
I was thinking of 4-5-1.
4-5, yeah.
4, I mean, your 2 center backs y Edson, que se planta en medio.
But he's
as a 6.
Yeah, but he's never done 4 like 5 in the middle, así. But he has done with Israel Reyes and at the Nations League where he did 3, and then he has his 2 runners, right? Piojo and Gallardo.
Es casi lo mismo, right?
Almost, but los roles de los jugadores, ¿verdad? Because I think the biggest thing is you need 3 in the middle. Because unfortunately, with Edson, you need 2 other mids.
Yes, that's
Edson and one more mid does not work.
Exactly, that's where we're at.
No, Charly with the one more mid does not work. Eric Lira with somebody better, low key does work.
What does Eric Lira play in Cruz Azul? Like, what's his role?
He's like the 6, but he does that weird center back thing
where he drops in the middle
all the way to all the way to center back and then pushes up with the ball. Desde Anselmi, they were doing this weird thing. But he basically a 6 that drops a lot.
Right, and becomes a center back when he wants to receive the ball.
Yeah, which is what Edson tries to do. But this guy can be more like everywhere. So I like him with somebody else, but it's not going to happen. It's Edson with somebody else, right?
Because he plays at West Ham, yes.
Because he's the captain. He's the... Soy mexicano, estás mi bandera.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't fucking go to Europe, guys.
Let's so I mean Eric Lira's pushing for Europe. Marcel Ruiz like pushing for Europe. Yeah. To close us out in this match, we got a bunch of subs in que pues nomás no la armaron because these Swiss players just kept scoring on us in the 64th, 71st, 90th. But el cuate, el de Apatzingán, Michoacán, donde la vida no vale nada.
He hella looks like from Apatzingán.
A full straight up played Sunday League.
He looks. Aren't they purépechas those de Apatzingán?
Purépechas.
Con todo respeto.
No, arriba los purépechas.
Yo conozco. I grew up. Le decían los toluqueños, but half of that team was.
They're from Michoacán.
Yeah, from Michoacán.
Oh shit.
Todos parecidos así.
No, for sure. But baller, ese güey trae los huevos.
That's the definition of like a true Mexican fucking.
That fool's
never took the foot off the gas pedal.
That fool, nobody ever told him that you're not supposed to be a good Mexican Liga MX striker.
Yeah,
he doesn't even know that there's extranjeros trying to take his job. That fool's just out there Sunday Liga. Hey,
y le salen.
That fool cooks.
Yeah.
And he's got a good body on him. He knows where to move. Él es líder. He scored his goal, and he's like, "Hey, cabrón." And I'm like, bro, you barely ever get called up, and you're telling fools, no, that fool is the carácter. Yeah. He is what the average Mexican player should be, Ángel Sepúlveda, and Mexico would be a top 10 footy nation on this earth.
Serio.
He is an amazing Liga MX. Like, he is what I would hope Liga MX footballers were like, but he's above average. He's very above average.
Y le pone durísima a Vasco. ¿Quién va a ser el tercer?
I'd say lock him in.
It's going to be between him and Henry Martin. As much as I want Henry Martin because it's de la América, so there's a bias there. But I mean, this Ángel Sepúlveda, el Ángel del Gol, deserves.
What a freaking
fucking this.
He deserves a chance.
Yeah.
And what a moment to have 4 in-moment Mexican strikers. Henry keeps getting injured, but whenever he comes back, he balls.
Yeah.
And then Memo Martinez, the 5th one there, he's lower on the order now. But what a moment to have that many. Somebody go to Europe. God damn it. Somebody.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
they're
like
too old.
Henry Martin and Ángel Sepúlveda are just a bit too old now.
Yeah. Ángel Sepúlveda, I would love. Imagine he goes to Scotland, bro.
Dude,
he gives me Scottish Premiership, like
swear.
Top goal scorer in the Premiership,
And for like Dundee or Livingston or Hearts,
he would cook out there.
Oh,
no, but huge shouts to him for getting the goal. Alexis Vega got the assist on it, but Ángel Sepúlveda did the movement, bro. This fool didn't care. He was playing against like top European league center backs.
Against CONMEBOL, yeah.
Yeah, he did an amazing movement between the center back and the outside back. Atrás las espaldas. Beat everybody on speed. And what a fucking goal. What a shot. Like, no.
He's like, del Manchester, ya te miramos.
Me vale.
A Kanji.
Te vi en la tele una vez, güey.
Sí. ¿Qué pasó en la Champions?
No, bro, that dude, he did not care who he was up against. He's like, this is my moment. I get very few of these. And I showed up. Yeah. But those are the things to call out, folks, I guess I would say, from this Switzerland match. A lot more downside than upside. Yes, you could throw some stuff away, the youngsters, but overall, I think El Vasco came out really pissed. Apparently, he yelled at them at the locker room that the next game they had to fucking come out wanting to play, and it looked like it. We can get right into the match against Turkey. A lot of different indications, a lot of different game plans from El Vasco, putting out, in my opinion, a stronger back line, which is the biggest thing for Mexico. You have to have a strong back line or else it doesn't matter who else you field. We get Jorge Sanchez out wide, Gallardo out wide, which at one point were the starters. Israel Reyes and Montes. I really like Israel Reyes. He had a pretty solid game. Really good ball-playing center back. A mí me gusta him and Johan Vázquez, in my opinion, would be a great dupla, even for the World Cup.
Yeah, the shitty thing about Cesar Montes is que juegan en Rusia, con todo respeto. I know we've been using that word, but yeah, like you don't get to see it y no es de la calidad de que, digamos, like full on what you think of Europe's top leagues are.
Yeah.
So it's been really hard for him y se nota que a veces no puede salir jugando, a veces hace unos errores infantiles. He almost got caught up in once against Turkey. And Johan Vázquez is the top center back. So va a ser él y alguien más. Mm-hmm. I think Reyes has been showing consistently that he can play as a right back or as a right center back. So he has to be in the ultimate, los que van a ir al Mundial. Pero de eso que sea el titular, he's going to need to win that slot.
It's going to be tough. I can see him starting immediately in the Gold Cup at right back because Jorge Sanchez hasn't been locked in. He's just coming. He didn't get called up at all the last time. Remember when he cried about it?
Oh, yeah.
And then Julian Araujo just doesn't seem to break through. Israel Reyes was the starter, but now they put him at center back. I think he might get shifted over, but I think he's 1 or 2 mistakes away, the Cesar Montes, to get a shot. Yeah. To, that second game against like Costa Rica or something, being like, you know what, chingale. Cesar Montes a la banca, güey, you messed up. Yeah. Pareces pinche venado recién nacido. No, but that's what it is. He was good ball playing center back when he was in Spain because you need to be. Yeah. Se fue a Rusia, ya no se ve ni madres.
Yeah.
And
Es lo mismo con Luis Chavez. Unfortunately,
low key,
we were so hyped about him, and we even said, "Se verá Rusia y la va a romper," and now he's our locked-in starter.
Now it seems like that Russian league is just agua, güey. No es nada.
Sí, y lo malo es que obviously no juegan Champions, no juegan Conference, no juegan Europa, so esa calidad.
Ni en la tele salen, yo creo, los güeyes.
Yeah, you find him in one of those sketchy sites. Y se nota that now Luis Chavez is not even in here. We're not even talking about him.
Yep, exactly. We don't even know. Like, we're not. Ya ni lo contemplamos for the team at all. We're just like, oh, what other mids?
Yeah.
When it was his spot at the World Cup. We did get a 1-0 result in Mexico, which was really positive on the result front. Orbelin Pineda, we're moving out to the mids, gets a goal. He gets 2 goals, actually. Puts one away after, I think, Quiñones header didn't go in, and then he got a rebote, but he was offsides. More than anything, I was pissed off at the time at him because he was just he was lazy to get back onside. Pero le cayó, and he scored it. But he had a great game, and then he puts his goal away. He does his bailecito, his backflips y todo. And now we get Orbelin Pineda starting at the World Cup, probably.
Yeah, which, si vamos a estar metiendo goles, I don't hate it, but at the same time, like,
I don't have much confidence.
Exactly. Like, I think right now in Mexico, he was playing out wide, right?
Yeah, he was playing in the 4-4-2. They did the same damn 4-4-2, and he was the right mid.
Yeah, I think out wide we have really good players right now. I think Alexis Vega, Chino Huerta. Who else is over there?
On the right, Alvarado.
Like, these players are playing decently well to where I like them better than Orbelin Pineda.
I still didn't love this 4-4-2. We did have Marcel Ruiz and Edson Alvarez in the middle. A lot of people screaming for Marcel Ruiz. And in my opinion, the first 30 minutes, no lo vi. And Edson was hella far back. I was in the Discord talking smack about Edson because he was really deep. And then Marcel Ruiz was also not it wasn't like his diamond, right? You know, when they do 4-4-2 like this, he was right next to him, but Edson was going hella deep. So no lo veí mucho con la pelota. But then, yeah, see, in the second half, I thought he really got his confidence. He got his legs under him. Eric Lira came in, which helped a lot to free him up.
Yeah.
But I thought Marcel Ruiz, to answer everyone's question, I think he did a really good job. Especially for his debut, for his first match, I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah, and I think he deserves more call-ups. I mean, acaba de ganar con Toluca. Yeah. This was deserved and should have been at the March call-ups. Pero ahora que he needs to stay at the Gold Cup y que le eche ganas y que ahí sí diga, que levante la mano y diga, yo, I'm here to win one of these spots and start.
If they get some rotations in, I could see him starting a game. But going back to it, I think it's Edson and Eric Lira. Yeah. We didn't see them much together at the same time on the field these couple games, but it's because going back to it, El Vasco was trying players out. Alexis Vega on the left, not really a great game, comes out pretty early. And then at the top, the dupla that we had, El Cuate, because he scored his goal, got his opportunity. And Quiñones, who got this weird, FootMob gave Quiñones the assist, but it was Marcel Ruiz.
Marcel Ruiz, yeah.
He gave the ball in. And that's another thing, Twitter, I didn't see it light up, but Marcel Ruiz got an assist before Charly got any metric. A goal or an assist in his first match.
Jesus Christ. Dios mío.
Which is
I don't get kind of crazy. I don't get what they see in Charly Rodriguez. I get that he holds the ball y toca bonito y se mira bonito y no hace tanto fuzz. But I mean, a veces let's go off of the stats a little bit, guys.
The Charly Rodriguez, even at Cruz Azul, is a transition player. You get it from the center back and you're just like, oh, cabrón, no puedo salir bien. I would rather him than Edson giving the ball in because he's not going to give me an assist. He's not going to do that, but he turns on it nice. Y se la da alguien más who then goes and does stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we've been screaming this for a long time here. Mexico doesn't need that. They need more players that can help dynamically go forward.
Yeah.
When they were three mids, they needed one to be defensive, Edson, one to really help out offensively, the other one to be that connection, and Charly just wasn't doing any of those.
Correct.
But now that it's two, it gets even harder. You can't have him and Edson at the same time, then no se hace nada. So Marcel Ruiz is going to get in there and hopefully mix some stuff up. But Angel Sepulveda did okay. He didn't get his goal.
Yeah.
But he was trying his heart out. Quiñones también más o menos igual.
Yeah, trying to do that hold-up play and trying to connect, pero se miró, at least for me, se miró que como que le faltaba physicality against these Turkish center backs. And maybe it's that Saudi League. Maybe we do see the goals that he scores, pero a lo mejor no es lo mismo físicamente o a lo que maybe Liga MX players or European players are playing at. So
did you see he was getting laid out like the first 20 minutes or so?
Yeah.
Every ball he would get, el pinche cabrón de Soyuncu de Fenerbahce, the fool that looks like an Easter Island head. That fool, every time, no hombre, sopas, cabrón. Like 3 times le dio.
Yeah.
Mocos. And I was like, bro, si no te calmas, cabrón.
Te va a echar el ángel del gol, Ahí te va.
No, they definitely got chippy towards the end of the game.
Yeah, there was a moment on the se juntaron, no? And
Like,
they had to get separated.
And el que siempre was in between it all, Eric Lira.
Huevo.
Because on one...
It's the first one. Entró y moco se da.
Entró y le dio un madrazo. Didn't get a yellow for it. Le dio un madrazo. I forgot who it was. I think it might have been to Arterkoglu right off the bat. And then like 5 minutes later, they try to get a breakaway. Y otra vez, vámonos, cabrón, pulls him. And this fool is about that business. We've seen him in Liga MX with Pumas, now Cruz Azul, do that. Where, bro, le vale.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you say? Hey, pues aquí estoy.
Sí.
¿Quieres o no quieres?
Ponte y verás.
No, this dude is about it. And that's the vibe that I want there. Like,
I don't want to ser dos.
he gives me that, like, we can now, like, Edson could go to a different position, and we know that the middle, hay un pinche enforcer.
Un jefe.
El jefe.
Yeah. Un torrado cuando era torrado.
No, this dude, he gives me torrado vibes, faster though, better control, all around better.
With hair también.
With hair? El de pelo de borrego que trae el pinche torrado. No, but give me your overall thoughts. What did you think? Obviously, different results.
Yeah.
Similar strength, strong European teams. What did you think after this match?
I mean, honestly, I thought if we can podemos juntar la defensa and not make any silly mistakes, I think against these, I want to say like B to C tier European squads, we can have a good chance at the World Cup. Es nomás hallarle la fórmula de cuáles jugadores poner, en qué momento están. Do I need 2 forwards? Who are they? Si es Santi y Sepulveda o Sepulveda y Raúl Jiménez. Like, it's just finding that combination y que se acoplen también. But overall, I like the way he tried people in different places, and obviously los Pelones y los Mateo Chavez is like, we know that they're maybe 3 or 4 steps or 3 or 4 places down the ladder.
Yeah, I agree. A couple of call-outs from my end. I don't love that 4-4-2 again in this game. I think Mexico, when they play tougher teams, they will shift to like a 3-5-2 that we were talking about, with 3 in the middle, which I think helps them out a lot for a team that doesn't like naturally have forward-playing center mids. And I think they're going to need it, and that's how you're going to get more balls to both of your strikers. I think Vasco was just kind of testing it out here. They should get back to doing that for the Gold Cup, especially against tougher teams. You made a good point that the way that they play here, if this is how they play, we got a somewhat of a good chance at the World Cup. They're also head of the group, so the teams below them, they're not going to get a Spain. They're not going to get a Portugal. They're going to get teams at the level of Turkey and Switzerland.
Yeah.
So it's good that they tested against these teams. They got Japan coming. They should be the levels that they should be playing.
Yeah. And
they should be beating all of them. And that's where this result lines up a little bit more with the path del Vasco. If we've been alabándolo, saying like slowly getting little pieces here and there, then you got to get a win. Go into the Gold Cup, win the Gold Cup, come out of the Gold Cup, beat Japan, get a positive result, have another window before the World Cup. Good results. Go to the World Cup, and that's the best we got for 2026.
Yeah, and we also kind of forget that Javier Aguirre is known for that Guerrero defending style. So maybe we missed that he's trying this 4-4-2, que is a more balanced formation. Pero if he can find that right balance, I mean, default is always going to be just defend and try to get that 1-0 like Turkey.
Yeah.
So as long as he keeps trying these formations and maybe getting good results and finding, okay, maybe un 3-5-2 or lo que sea, it's perfect going into the World Cup because this is what we want, ¿verdad? Es preparándose a decir, ¿sabes qué? Mejor a la segura nos vamos a ir a la defensiva y we'll make it slowly through. But I think ultimately these two games nos preparan para eso. And I'm excited to see him at the Gold Cup. A ver cómo les va.
Yeah, and you brought up El Vasco Aguirre. He had a lot of points overall about footy stuff this past week, getting tore up after the first game and being really upset. After the second game, being a lot more positive, but bringing out the Vasco vibe where he's just realistic about a lot of things. He called Raul Jimenez and Santi Bueyes pendejos or something like that because he was saying how the forwards have to be egoísta overall, a 9, right? That they were just, at the end, they were just kind of, no tú dale, no tú dale, no tú dale. And Mexico had like 3 opportunities the last 10 minutes. Falló uno el Chino Huerta off the post. Mm-hmm. Raul Jimenez had a good ball in from Jeremy Marquez that he couldn't trap. Like, he couldn't figure out la paso, le tiro, like, he couldn't really deal with it. And then I think Santi had one. And against Turkey, Santi had like 3 in the first. Against Switzerland, he had like 3 in the first half. Que las regó. So El Vasco coming out with strong words saying, I told them in the locker room, I'll tell you guys right here, son pendejos. Like, son güeyes. They messed up. Same, he came out and said the same thing about the overall team. I told them in the locker room, so I could tell you guys. They came out horrible. Right, and these are the things that we have to fix.
I love that from El Vasco.
That transparency is great, Del Vasco. We always appreciate it.
Yeah, and it lets us know, like the fans and I guess the media, in todo lo que conlleva la selección mexicana, es que you have a true leader como director técnico que se deja de, excuse the word, but se deja de mamadas.
Yeah,
it tells it how it is. So again, El Vasco Aguirre nos está salvando otra tercera vez after Korea and fucking and South Africa.
South Africa, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the World Cup.
Let's move it on to some predictions, folks. We got the Gold Cup starting. We got Mexico versus Dominican Republic against Suriname, and then against Costa Rica against El Piojo Herrera and his men. Just overall high level, because I think I kind of understand where you're going to go with this, Cesar. But what are Mexico's expectations for the Gold Cup?
Oh, they have to win. They have to defend the Gold Cup. But I think this group les va a salir más difícil de lo que a lo mejor están pensando.
You think so?
I think Suriname has really interesting players, fast, dynamic, strong. And I'm sure they're going to come out to defend and just get a tie. And Costa Rica, like El Piojo has them. El Piojo knows la selección mexicana, knows the players, knows the league. So he's also, on paper, should make it difficult for Mexico. Dominican Republic, like, as
Todo
much
respeto.
as they're going to try, it's just not going to be enough.
Just being straight up, I mean, Dominican Republic, I don't think they're going to eat. No se van a comer menos de 3, in my opinion. I do agree with the Suriname piece. It's just going to be about, like, are they ready yet for a bigger team to come out?
They're top of the group.
In Nations League, they played against Canada in the semifinal, and they lost 1-0, and then Canada beat them like 4-0 in the next one. So, a ver con qué salen, like, if they can keep a clean sheet, maybe they frustrate Mexico también. And then, like you said, Costa Rica, Piojo Herrera is going to know how to get his players ready against Mexico. He's going to want venganza. But we'll see.
Trabajar.
In my opinion, I think Mexico gets 9 points out of 9 points.
Okay.
What do you
I'll
think?
give it to you. I can see 9 points out of 9 points. But I can also see 7.
Tie against who? Costa Rica.
Against Suriname. No, I think they'll get Costa Rica. They get Dominican Republic, then they get Suriname or Costa Rica.
Suriname.
Yeah, I think Suriname might. And then they'll go.
Maybe change up some pieces too. Maybe Tala plays. No, también, you got to win if you get Tala in. Come on, help him out. But you think Mexico will win it? I know you said the expectation is to win it.
Yeah.
Do you think, and who's got a chance against Mexico?
I mean, we'll talk about the U.S., but I think Mexico Other than Mexico, it's going to be really hard for anybody else to win. I think Canada is probably the next one that can win it.
Canada's bringing a pretty full squad. I mean, even Panama lost Coco Carrasquilla. You know, that's a big piece of the team. The U.S. is completely depleted right now. I just don't see the donde for other teams. Canada, I think, would be a good one. I can see them if they face each other in semifinal because, you know, they rig it for U.S. and Mexico. I could see Canada being a tough opponent, but it all depends on the moments, right? If Jesse Marsch gets his team right. But let's talk a little bit about the U.S. So I think we're both in agreement. Mexico has to win it. It's going to be tough. There has to be a new contender that comes out there to really show up. Canada's trying to be it, pero como que nomás no. But the U.S. is the one que nomás no. They lost against Turkey 2-1. And Mexico was like, damn, how strong is Turkey? And then Mexico beats Turkey. And then they lose against Switzerland 4-0.
Yeah, una bailada que le dieron los suizos.
I mean, overall, I think you could group them together because they were neither of them were great.
Yeah, it's just really hard.
Because the one goal you score in both matches is in the first minute. So también, ¿qué te dice? Like, if it was in the middle of the game, you're like, okay, we were dominating certain parts of the game, pero nomás no se pudo. No, you scored in the first goal, and then you went 180 minutes without scoring. And you got scored on 6 times.
Yeah, it's really tough. To be honest, that those faces that I saw out there, like muy apenas conocía a pinche the goalie. Matt Turner.
Diego Luna.
¿Quién más?
Malik Tillman.
Oh, sí. ¿Quién más?
That's it. Haji Wright off the bench, I think. No,
Haji Wright hadn't been there.
Es mucha pedacera because the situation with the players. Christian Pulisic backs out.
Sabbatical?
Captain America pulls the sabbatical card. He says, RTO, perdón. I have sick time. I have time off.
What is RTO?
Request time off at work. He's like, no, no. You know what? Work-life balance.
Sí, a huevo.
And he dipped to go chill with his girlfriend and golf and shit.
She does golf, huh?
She's a pro golfer.
Yeah.
And
I just saw the noise online going Landon Donovan, and then even Clinton Dempsey chimed in, and it was just a big fiasco.
They hate each other, and they aligned.
Yeah.
And they hate each other because of Donovan's sabbatical, because Donovan took a sabbatical.
Yeah.
So like after that, Clinton Dempsey was really upset about it and like didn't want him coming back and being seen as Captain America, right? He's like, I'm the guy, I'm the leader.
I've been here.
I've been here. I'm at Fulham. I'm at the top squads, and like I've been here. Why don't I get the credit? But this fool's Captain America. He wasn't here for a year or half a year.
Now you want to sit at the table, is what he said.
Then Donovan comes out and bashes Pulisic for doing the same thing for less time.
Yeah.
Dempsey comes out and agrees with him. And a couple players have come out in defense of Pulisic. Eddie Johnson, who is I think a pundit on Fox Sports or something, came out and said that he's within his right. Blah, blah, blah.
He's within his right. I get that.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, like, right. Yeah, you're one of those players who also has that heavy calendar year. Like, you're gonna feel like Clint Dempsey. You're going to feel like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you're supposed to be our leader. Y ahora vienes y you got special treatment. Y ahora te miran diferente. Y ahora te miran, oh, este güey que tiene. Or like, it's just the chemistry, the vibe goes completely off.
Well, I mean, one great point that I saw today is that Cristiano Ronaldo at 40 years old, after a full calendar year of soccer, yes, I get it in the Pro League, Saudi Pro League. But after all that, the travel, the this, the that, he has kids. Pulisic doesn't have kids. He has kids también, like a full family, todo. And you're still gonna like not show up when all of these players that they've interviewed, it's an honor for them to finish their club, take 7 days off, and then show up to high intensity training with your national team.
Yeah,
it's just the way that the system is made here for these players to feel like safety net, to feel padded. It's parecen niñitos out there, bro. Like, just be a grown adult and go do your work.
Yeah, go what you get paid for. I work with British folk. I work with British coaches at my club, and me dicen I've met British coaches from other clubs. I've met British refs. I've met just British people, and todos piensan lo mismo. Todos dicen American kids are, like you said, padded, are spoiled, are pampered, are little rich kids que les dan todo en la mano. It's the same thing at the high level. It's that pay to play system that one of those kids made it to the top level, which is Christian Pulisic, and now he's still getting that treatment.
Y se le viene what he's had his whole life, de que le tiene miedo al boogeyman y que todavía le ayuda a su mamá a tender su ropa y todo. Like, that's what it is. And we're not even part of the East Coast footy culture here in the West Coast. Right. The East Coast footy culture, in my opinion, is donde está todo eso también. Sí. Over here is mucha raza that we see and stuff, but allá son los riquitos, es el dinero.
Sí, y luego one other point, and I think it goes along with pinche Clint Dempsey. Like, do you know where I'm from, dog?
Yeah. Nagadocious.
Él viene de, como lo ha dicho él viene de un lugar donde, in Texas, where the poor people, ¿verdad? One of those poor white boys que le tocó a él. Y eso es lo que dice. Is why he got mad at Landon Donovan. Is why he's upset with what Christian Pulisic is doing now.
Yeah, it's just a bit tone deaf to see Pulisic posting a picture with this. Yes, I get it with your family, but like with your loved one there, with a bunch of kids or whatever.
He does not give a fuck.
With the caption, just what the doctor ordered. And it's just like, bro, like, I don't know. The first thing that came to my mind is you think you're him.
Yeah.
Like, my guy, you're just becoming a villain. You were never that superhero. You were like, the title of this Captain America was forced upon you. You're not the LeBron James of soccer. They called you that because it was a fucking joke. Because you are a fucking joke. You're a good footballer. You're a quality footballer. You don't have a personality of a superstar. You don't have the aura of a Messi or Ronaldo. I saw somebody saying, I think it was Filippo, Tactical Manager, shout out, saying the U.S. has never had a world-class player. The closest thing is Pulisic, and he's not world-class.
Yeah.
Even if he gets better, he's not world-class. Because it's also a personality thing. It's a fucking presence. It's an aura thing, and he just doesn't have that. He's not a leader. Like, it makes me feel like if he's in my locker room and he tells me something, I'm going to want to do the opposite instead, because I'm like, bro, like, shut the fuck up. Like,
It's your typical white boy.
It's like, a privilege thing.
Yeah.
And it reeks of privilege.
Yeah.
I get it. We all want our breaks and all this stuff. Your nation is at the worst moment that it's been since you failed to take them to the World Cup. Yeah. He was on that squad. You failed to do it, and you're at the worst moment since that with a world-class level coach.
With the World Cup coming to your nation, to your country,
to your backyard. You're supposed to back it up here, and you're gonna take a sabbatical.
That is wild.
And you're gonna play the victim, and you're gonna like spark all this shit on social media, like,
and you're gonna post saying just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, it's so disheartening for the U.S. fans to not have a leader at the moment. And when it rained, it poured, because now they have multiple players that are out. The McKinney and the Timothy Weahs and all this stuff. So nobody's there to alzar el equipo. But they're going to get a new leader. I hope it's Diego Luna.
I really do.
I hope it's something
He
like
has that dog in him. He has that aura in him. He worked at Dutch Bros. Like, Huevo, that's my boy.
I hope
he's from Sunnyvale.
I hope half of that squad is the one that like come out and be like, you know what? From the personality perspective, it's us, and we're all going to go to Europe in the next 6 months. So like, don't even trip. We got it. That presence is just not there with Pulisic. Tampoco with Pochettino. In all honesty, that full hot take in the Discord, somebody said that he won't make it to the World Cup. It's looking like they suck.
I called it. I said he was on fraud watch ever since he got announced. This is why. He was at Tottenham. He has that Tottenham aura. Donde no se gana nada. Donde
it rubbed off on him, man.
Donde you think you've got it, you've solved it, you're that one coach, you're him, but you're not.
I hope Argentina hires him next, so they go bad. No, Brad. Yeah, they thought they were cooking, man. Jesus, when Jurgen Klopp didn't answer the phone call, Dios mío.
Oh yeah,
foreshadowing. Que les iba a ir mal.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for Y si les va peor at the Gold Cup. If he doesn't make it to the final, it's a big issue, in my opinion.
For sure. Minimum, they have to make the final.
Yeah.
And there's a possibility they don't make it past like the first knockout game.
Who's in their group? Oh, wait, let me check.
They have an easy group. Trinidad and Tobago, they play here. And then Saudi Arabia. I would say as a prediction, I'll put some money on it that they don't make the final. Yeah. It's the squad's not it. Like, they're missing a lot, and unfortunately the talent's not super there. I hope
they got Haiti.
That's a pretty strong team, dude. It's not bad. I hope that somebody, like I said, a leader shows up from that, and they do okay because of the individual players that are there, but it's not looking good. All right, let's bring it to La Nations League. Let's go back over to La UEFA. We had 7th ranked Portugal, the underdogs, very much the underdogs, against 2nd ranked Spain, who's been playing like the best team in the world as of lately, especially with the wonder kid named Yamal on their side.
I was so talking about.
All eyes were set on 2 people: the youngest player on the pitch, the oldest player on the pitch, Cristiano Ronaldo and Yamal. A good battle in the midfield, Vitinha versus Pedri. 2 really good keepers. Like the stage was set. This was an amazing thing, and it seems almost like we're getting a look ahead of a really late World Cup matchup. A really good matchup, some back and forth. Zubimendi opening up the match with the goal in the 21st minute off of a really good hustle play. Nuno Mendes. Basically, this whole match was the Nuno Mendes show. I don't know how he wasn't the player of the match, but he gets his goal, walking it up all the way up the pitch. Vámonos, bombazo, cabrón. Oyarzabal gets a goal for Spain. And then in the second half, Cristiano Ronaldo gets a goal against all odds.
Yeah.
Off of a cross, then Nuno Mendes, who gets a deflection up in the air, and Ronaldo con puro colmillo goes behind Cucurella. And then Cucurella gets caught ball watching. Ronaldo dice, hey, se la
aplicó.
That's the barrio.
Sí, a huevo.
He's like, hey, te desbalanceas. Hey, watch out.
And then Cucurella se pone a llorar.
Cucurella doesn't even cry for it. He doesn't fake the foul good, who, in my opinion, he's good at flopping. Cucurella with that hair. But Ronaldo just knew exactly the right pressure to put on your body. He's been playing for 20-some years, my guys.
At the top level, yeah.
Nomás just gets him right out of the way, and then le cae beautifully to that foot. Golazo. Easy goal, too.
Yeah, this was the match, I think one of the most exciting matches in terms of like countries for this tournament. And it was supposed to be Lamine Yamal. It was supposed to be him flying down the flank and just, doing that slick move where he like cuts inside and gets a good cross or a good shot. But I think overall we can agree that Nuno Mendes was just way too good.
Nuno Mendes had a really strong game for playing against Yamal. It was kind of like outstanding. It was crazy to see that, like, he was shutting him down in certain moments. Obviously, you can't 100% stop him. Yamal had a pretty good game. But to see the plays where he was just like, hey, little guy, like, hey, te calmas? I've been here a minute.
I mean, to be fair, he's still pretty young, 22 years old. Pero viene de Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, where they just won the Champions League. Viene de Luis Enrique. Like, viene inspirado.
I mean, he's the best left back in the world. What's the question about it, no? Like, I mean, no me digas que Cucurella on the other side, who is probably one of the top 5 también, but like, Nuno is at a different level right now, and he's just playing at a really good moment. And there were some plays, dude, where he was like, la que le recortó bien bonito a Yamal. He would take him down the line, catch up to him, take the ball away, and puro body, hey, fintitas. Like, no, this was a clinic on how to play against Yamal, but nobody will be at that level to do it. Like, there's very few. But like, if a coach needs to show clips to somebody, you show them that.
Yeah, and Cristiano Ronaldo doing it again, I think, shutting a lot of people's mouths, diciendo, tengo 40 años, ya sé, estoy jugando en Saudi Arabia, but I still show up in the moments my team needs me.
Yeah, he's like, I'm still that guy.
Yeah.
There's still pieces of that in me. And that was 2 matches in a row where he puts the goal in that his team needs. And when needed. And I'm over here talking that shit like, bro, sáquenlo, yeah. Like, put in Diogo Jota and go no 9 and just cook entre todos los cabrones. But, like, don't listen to me, bro. You guys win the game one way or another.
Yeah, I'm never going to talk shit about Roberto Martinez anymore. Like, he really...
I'm still going to talk shit. Fuck that fool.
But yeah, I don't think it was him, but...
He finally got a trophy.
He finally got a trophy. He finally won. But I think this Portugal team is just way too good to lose. Yeah. Like, it's just... everybody's playing at that high level where, like, pon ahí a pinche... ¿cómo se llama? El pelón del Puebla.
El Chelis.
Pon ahí al pinche Chelis y gana también.
No, for real.
So, yeah, I think Cristiano Ronaldo, it's coming to a point where, like, I'm also, like, as we've grown and seen Messi and Ronaldo, but it's coming to a point where, like, holy shit, like, maybe Cristiano Ronaldo is that guy and is the greatest, this game has ever seen, because being 40 and playing at this level and getting the goals in important games is really, really impressive. And I don't see Messi quite doing that right now.
Yeah, I mean, Messi still has the talent there, but the numbers aren't pumping as much as at this moment. Ronaldo's numbers are looking pretty good.
And as much as you hate Cristiano, like the way he treats his body, es por eso que le está dando frutos at 40 years old.
No, yeah, and he gave his team what they needed. They get a tying goal, and then they're able to take it into extra time and then to penalties. And then penalties, we have a pretty good shootout. Both teams have amazing penalty kick takers. Like, everybody is their team's penalty kick taker. Yeah. Like Merino, Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes, Nuno Mendes, Ruben Neves, Alvaro Morata had to come in and cagarla. Isco came back from the dead, gets a call-up, and he gets his penalty, but... Yeah, the big thing called Alvaro Morata with the big old stinker.
Yeah, I bet you it was a really soft penalty too.
I think it was a pretty soft penalty.
Yeah,
a la Morata, right? What we remember of him. Unfortunate for Spain, but to your point earlier, you mentioned like I don't see anybody like who's going to beat this Portugal. I think this Spain has what it takes.
Yeah,
those players just have to get their moments. Yamal, this has to be a lesson for Yamal.
Yeah.
I understand you're up against a really strong player, but you are Yamal. And tú tienes que sobresalir, because if not, we lose.
Yeah.
Look what happened. So next game, I can see him taking that personal and coming out a lot stronger, a lot more aggressive, trying things differently, switch him sides one play. Joao Neves was having a rough time on the other side.
Oh, with Nico Williams?
With Nico Williams. They were not going through Yamal's side a lot because it was locked down. So... go heavy on that side, get some goals, do something. I could see Spain coming back really strong for the World Cup. I think in my opinion, they're my favorites.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think they just had an off game. Pedri needs to be better. Fabian Ruiz, Suamendi, even the back line. I think that's what we called out in the Discord, especially saying that France les estaba atacando y era más France's attacking team against Spain's attacking team because neither team had a defense.
Yeah.
And I think if Spain can really lock down that defense, I know Dean Hutchinson is still only 20 years old, but like necesitan acoplarse bien, and you need to figure out who's your right back because Mingueza's back there, but you also have Pedro Porro.
I was like, ¿quién es ese güey? ¿Milanesa? ¿Qué?
Pero de esos dos no sacas uno right now.
Pedro Porro needs to get back to top level. I mean,
y no hacer las estupideces que hizo against France, that penalty. So they just need to figure that piece out, and I think Spain can be like top 1 or 2 contenders in the World Cup.
Yeah, and Portugal gets their long-awaited trophy since that Euros that they won.
The Euros,
it's been a while. Ronaldo at this age to be getting a major trophy like that, I think is huge, especially for his lore. Yeah, he was crying. Everyone, just, like a lot of people were crying, and I was like, damn, people starting to care about Nations League. Antes no.
Pero it's what we talked about with Christian Pulisic. It's like whenever they get to represent their country, they take it full on.
Super
like
personal.
They feel it. I like this trophy was just created for probably like this is the 3rd time I think they crown a champion. Yeah, people care about it. The players care, and that's what gives it their value. That's why we tune in to watch it. And it's like if Christian Pulisic isn't over here feeling the same thing, it's phony. It's fucking fake. It's does he really care about this, or he cares more about himself?
Very true. Now, see, this wasn't the same vibe we were getting from CONCACAF Nations League. I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
And Mexico and Portugal, the two winners. Campeón de campeones, or what?
Dijeron los Simpsons que pues se iban a mirar la final.
Oh, that's true. Damn.
I don't know.
Maybe this is what they meant, though. You know, like that they won.
Now they got to play against each other.
Ojalá. Will Ronaldo hit 1,000 goals?
What's he at right now?
Like 960 something or something.
He's
going to play 3 more years.
Maybe. He needs to average, like 20 goals a year.
There's a rumor. I mean, it's too late now. There was a rumor for LAFC for the Club World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
He
said no.
And then if he stayed at the MLS, no, hombre, ¿cuántos goles mete, güey?
But this is a cross club and country.
This is all competitions.
Entonces, sí las.
No, he's for sure.
Yeah, he's for sure.
There's no way he has 1,000 with
I was about to say.
All right, let's bring it on to the Maurice Revello tournament. Bring it back to Mexico. Let's do this one quick. Mexico tied all 3 matches in their group. Pa acabarla de chingar. They tied against Denmark. They tied against Japan. They tied against Congo. This last match against Congo, it was in their hands, their fate, because Denmark beat Japan, and they solidified themselves as first place, and they brought down Japan with them, which allowed Mexico, if you win, you're in. If you tie, you're also in. But don't mess it up, Mexico. So then they go up against Congo. They're up 3-1. They're cooking. They're looking good. Y luego les meten el 3-2 in the 89th or so minute. And then what happens when they're setting up to play again? Alguien le dijo algo de su abuela a Stefano Carrillo. And this fool throws a freaking right hook.
Parecía la talacha.
He straight up, vámonos. He kind of looks like a boxer too.
Yeah.
He straight up hits this fool, gets a red card.
Yeah, I mean, I want to take that. It's just one part of it, but I think overall, if we can take a look at this whole tournament, both on the field and with situations like this and yellow cards, you can tell this group of kids are still really young y se dejan llevar por las emociones.
Well, they're lacking discipline a bit.
Yeah.
They're 20. También, they're not. This isn't the U17s. This isn't Carlos Velas's class, those fools look like grown-ass men out there.
Yeah.
I think these guys are a little bit too hot-headed. They need to be brought down a notch.
Maybe a bit of that pampered that we talked about.
No, see,
están acostumbrados.
There's a couple of them that are in Europe, a lot of them that are not in Europe. I don't know. But after that, a player down, they give up a penalty in the last minute, get another red card. And then that's the tying goal, pa acabarla de chingar. But thankfully, at that point, that gives them the 1 point tie that they need. So they're able to move on. They still have to go to penalties just to solidify it more than anything. But then they lose in penalties. Cabrones.
No, güey.
El que la falló fue Ángel Rico del Pumas. Canterano del Pumas. But, I mean, what are your thoughts? What have you heard from the tournament? Like, any good things to call out?
I think the only one that I kind of want to call out is Emi Ochoa. He didn't play that first game, but that second game he was there. He blocked that penalty against Japan to get them those 2 points, and I think that's what got him through.
Yeah, ultimately.
So este equipo, the main thing is for me, necesitan esa disciplina, necesitan actuar como equipo, necesitan grow up a bit more. I mean, you see Lamine Yamal, 17 years old, y se mira como si tuviera 25, 27. And that's what we need from some of these players. Stefano Carrillo, one of them playing at Feyenoord. No la chingas, güey, no hagas eso.
The rumor is that there's a chance that he gets suspended in real life outside, not just at the tournament. And that would mean that he possibly doesn't go to the U20 World Cup.
Yeah. Well, that's what he
sucks,
gets.
Bro. Like, God, what a terrible mistake in your life.
And se la paso, it's the U20 World Cup, pero de eso tienes que aprender.
Bro, he's the 9 at
He's
Feyenoord.
The next one, yes.
So now they have to go with the guy from like Toluca. Like, come on, también. Like, you're not just affecting yourself. You're affecting the team. You were supposedly this wonder kid. Come on. Yeah. You also got a neck tattoo. Spider-Man.
Yeah. I didn't think he was that young. I thought he was older. Pero
He's
tiene
19,
19, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Wow.
But one of the reasons, in my opinion, why they didn't do so hot in the penalties, you mentioned Emi Ochoa being a big key. They went back to Pablo Lara, who didn't have that great of a first game. You go back to him again.
They're going with Emi against France.
He doesn't stop a single penalty in either of the games.
Yeah. He's a bit shorter, por eso.
A little bit shorter.
He's
Se le
like
ve lo
6
verde
feet,
también. No, Emi looks like he looked like a grown ass man out there.
Yeah. He got a bunch of neck tattoos.
También. Straight out of Salinas.
Straight out of 831.
Now they face France in the semifinals. What are your thoughts? Do you think they have a chance?
No, pero le ganamos a Francia una vez, el 5 de mayo. Todo se puede.
That's just los poblanos, güey.
Mi Temo y Chicharito le ganaron en Francia también.
It's tough, in France, with Gignac there. It's going to be tough, especially because I think in the past, they've lost against France's U18s when they are U23s, Mexico, in the past. And now se los agarran bien y bonito, U20s both.
Yeah. Va a estar duro, but, I mean, tienen que. I mean,
the tough thing is, this is like France's C squad, the U20s. They're not bringing... They have so many under 20-year-olds debuting in League One, and none of them are there. Yeah. Like, se la veo difícil, uphill battle.
Yeah, definitely.
But buena suerte a mis mexicanos. Ojalá ganen y...
Yeah,
Panama's doing really good at the youth level.
Are they? Pasaron
they're on the
también?
other side, and they won it last time.
They did.
They were a little bit older, but...
Yeah, but Panama's been doing well at the youth for a couple of years now.
Yeah. All right, let's bring it on to La CONMEBOL. Just to take us on home, just a couple of points of the drama that we've been catching up on. More than anything, just to know, Brazil jumped up out of nowhere a couple of spots. They beat Paraguay, and now all of a sudden they're in third. One of the worst Brazils that we've seen in recent history. And they're still in third place.
It's Ancelotti ball, bro.
He cooked.
Yeah, I mean, this Paraguay was famous for not getting beat, being really defensive. But, I mean, we always thought, it's Brazil. Nos va a ganar. But this 1-0, I think, pretty much sums up both teams. Uno que se quería defender a muerte y el otro que just found one to put it away, and it was Vinny.
Yeah, Vinny's low-key picked it up since Ancelotti got there. I think como que dijo, ya le dio vergüenza un poco. He said, hey, that's my coach.
Ya le tiene que echar ganas, ya le dijeron, ponte las pilas.
No, for real. Yeah, like you mentioned, Paraguay hasn't lost since July 2024. That was in the Copa America.
Yeah, and this Paraguay, like, I really want to see him at the World Cup because, I mean, getting defensive teams que se defienden a muerte casi no hay. I mean, unless you're one of the weaker, quote-unquote, weaker squads. But Paraguay just feels like that style, that's what they want to play. And, yeah, I mean, they're, fifth in the rankings or in the league, in the table?
They're in a good spot right now.
Yeah.
We should see them there. Next up, we got Argentina versus Colombia. Los Colombianos looked like they had it. Luis Diaz was just taking everybody. His goal, he took like half of the freaking Argentino squad. They were all on the ground tirando chazos. They're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But se le hizo chico el Monumental. That was pretty crazy with that many Argentinos around you to put up a performance like that.
Yeah.
It looked like Colombia had it. A homeboy, ¿quién fue? Enzo Fernandez gets a red card to Argentina for cleating himself straight in the head. Did you see it?
I did not.
He straight up, like, así una de esas jugada peligrosa. He gets him in the head.
Oh, I did see.
And then
aquí.
It didn't look like he hit him that hard, though. And then the fool starts convulsing on the ground. He starts, his body starts shaking. First off, he starts tossing and tossing and tossing. And everyone's like, bro, you okay? Look, it wasn't that bad. But then he starts like shaking, bro. Like del madrazo, I think it messed up his head. And then he gets up and he's got a big old freaking...
Yeah, I saw que uno estaba abierto.
No, he got a big old freaking cut.
But yeah, I mean, no mire lo demás.
Yeah, but then Argentina gets a last minute, like always, bro. Goal de Thiago Almada.
Of all
Are you
people.
kidding me? MLS X. And then after the match, or towards the end, Messi calls out James Rodriguez for saying that Argentina got help from the refs at the 2024 Copa America.
Yeah. Hey, James was like, yo no dije nada. And they were going at it. I commend James Rodriguez for not like poniéndose. Like he was still having a dialogue with Messi. Because one of them was at Real Madrid, el otro Barcelona. I thought there'd be some bad blood there.
This is a strong rivalry right now in South America, though. Ya se llevan desde antes de Copa America.
Yeah.
I feel like Richard Rios is always in the middle of it, like talking that smack. He came out and talked smack to Otamendi at this game.
Que estás viejito.
He said, Bobo, ya ni te sirven para correr, or something like that. And I was like, bro, talk that smack, dog.
Desde cuando Jeremy Mina against...
at the old Copa America.
Yeah.
Cuidado que te como. Cuidado que te como.
Cuidado que te como. At the 2021.
That one, Jerry Mina's career went downhill. But, no, yeah, that...
Al rato lo vamos a mirar en Gilroy.
It's no, for real, Gilroy Morelia. No, it's been a good rivalry que llevan entre ellos. I thought this is the one that Colombia had.
Yeah.
Para pegarle one time back, pero pues no. And just to finish this off, we got our first eliminated team in South America, Chile. Chile, pa su casa.
Yeah, that's it for them.
Pobre Gareca.
Gareca, adios. I mean, Gareca took Peru to their first World Cup, or in a while. Their first ever, or?
I think they've been in one before.
Anyways, but yeah, Chile's gone. Peru is with 12 points. They're mathematically still there, but it looks like it's a bit far off.
But the math ain't mathin'.
Bolivia and Venezuela at 17 and 18. That one, ahí va a estar buena la cosa.
Let's bring it on home. Cesar, give me some games to watch this weekend.
Gold Cup starts this weekend. You get Mexico against Dominican Republic. Mexico are the heavy favorites, but you still have to play the games, so we don't know what Dominican Republic has. Pero esperemos as Mexico que los 3-4-5-0 para que se emocione la gente.
At least. No, sí, que toquen el dembao, ¿no?
Nomás que caramelo ahí, no me lo dejen entrar a ese güey.
I haven't seen that one forever. I'll keep it in the Gold Cup, too. I got the U.S. men's national team versus Trinidad and Tobago here at PayPal Park. Trinidad and Tobago used to be a pretty stronghold in CONCACAF footy, made a World Cup once. They need to come back to their greatness. They have a good chance against a injured U.S. men's national team. A ver qué. We got the FIFA Club World Cup starting this weekend as well. The inaugural match on Saturday, Inter Miami versus Al Ahly, the Egypt. I would put some money, honestly, that Inter Miami doesn't make it out of this group.
Jeez.
They're pretty high up in the favorites to win it.
That's wild. No,
they are for sure the highest. Only above them, I think, is Palmeiras and River from the Americas.
Oh, okay.
But way above Pachuca, Monterrey. And I'm just like, hey,
yo.
Respeto, por favor.
Por favor.
Salzburg is hella low, weirdly enough.
Keeping it at the Club World Cup, you have PSG against Atletico Madrid. I feel like this is one of those early game stages where this is a really good match. PSG just coming from winning the Champions League, and Atletico Madrid con Simeone always plays tough games. So this one on paper should be a really good match that I'm excited to watch.
And lastly, I got the Maurice Revello semifinals. As we mentioned, Mexico versus France. This would be a humongous upset. Mexico's got to put out the strongest team that you got. Go Chivas heavy. Puro Camberos, Yael Padilla, Uribe, Emi Ochoa, keeper. Put the best you got out there. Try to get a win.
A huevo. Keeping it at the Club World Cup, we got Boca Juniors against Benfica. This is one of those European against South America games que se antoja mirar, con unos Doritos, chile limón, con tu cervecita. But yeah, bunch of footy starting. We got the Gold Cup. We have the FIFA Club World Cup starting. Exciting summer. A ver quién gana.
That's
a
it.
Ver cuánto dinero perdemos with the betting.
Y si puro betting, ahí va a perder
Bet
todo.
responsibly, cabrones.
Easy. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, folks. Jump into the Discord. We'll be chopping it up this footy summer during all the matches. Catch us at pickup. Catch us at your local footy game. Maybe we'll make it last minute to the U.S. men's national team game.
Hey.
Están vara los boletos.
Casi dados.
Casi dados. Con que vengan con una chelita. You know that deal they do. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll talk soon.
Peace.
Peace.